does not need any more weakling, cowering, wimpy Republican congressmen and senators.
On January 6th, I proudly stood with President Trump in the fight against voter fraud. I'm running for the Senate because I'm tired of debt junkie, weak-kneed, open-border rhinos who sell out our conservative values. That's why President Trump endorses me and why Mitch McConnell opposes us. I'm Mo Brooks, and you better believe I approve this message.
Oh, you better believe it, Mo. That's Mo Brooks' campaign ad back when he was still on Donald Trump's good side. That love-hate relationship is now set on permanent hate, I feel like, because he just lost his bid for Senate against other Republican Katie Britt, who Trump then dropped his endorsement from Mo Brooks and switched it to Katie Britt, partially because Mo Brooks had a half a second of weakness when he said, let's move on from that 2020 election. Suddenly he's woke, suddenly it's over, then he loses. Now, Mo is kicking off a bit of a revenge tour as he has announced that he's open to speaking to the January 6th committee. Weird how that works, because he was speaking to all the foot soldiers before they went to the Capitol. He says how much he supported everything Donald Trump did, and now he's ready to talk about what was said to him. Hopefully, we'll see. Because his origin story here, let's go through this tweet thread, because his origin story did start as this villain that he's gonna become that Donald Trump created. I wanna go through this from Olivia Beavers. She wrote, Mo Brooks tells me he's retiring from politics after the quote bad guys won, referring to Katie Britt, who beat him out for the Senate Republican nomination in Alabama. Asked if he's now more open to testifying before the 1-6 panel, but he reiterated his demands for a public hearing, among some others. He said, well, I've never said absolutely no, and I've never said absolutely yes. I've never been served with a subpoena, so it sounds like he's waiting for that. Brooks also took aim at Trump in this. This is the good part about this. He says the big loser in the election in Alabama yesterday was Donald Trump. Olivia asked, why is that? Brooks said, he's not a man of his word. Said Trump has no loyalty and won't do anything unless it enhances his wallet or his ego. Excuse me. Weird how Donald Trump just now made that point to Mo Brooks after this whole back and forth, after his whole campaign, after he was in office for 4 years. We know Donald Trump cares about his wallet and his ego, but for some reason, Mo Brooks just figured that whole thing out. Now, as far as this whole thing with talking to the January 6th committee, he does have stipulations because he just might incriminate himself. So here's his stipulations. He signaled on Wednesday that he would comply with an impending subpoena from the bipartisan House committee that is leading the inquiry into the attack on the Capitol, but only under certain conditions. My basic requirement is it be public so that the public can see it, so they don't get bits and pieces dribbled out. He also said he'd testify only about matters related to January 6th and wants to see copies of any documents before the panel may ask him about it. So investigators have also sought to question him about his interactions with Mr. Trump in the aftermath of the attack. So we'll see if he actually comes clean with it, but then again, he's definitely worried about his ass. Let's keep it real. What are your thoughts, Jessica?
Yeah, we never really have to wonder too much what the motivations are with these guys. It's always about power, especially with Mo Brooks, right? He's criticizing other people for doing the same thing that he does all of the time, which is, when he had Donald Trump's endorsement, when he had the backing of the Trump Republicans, he was all fully on board. But then when it looked like power was shifting after January 6th, it's, well, maybe we should move on and think about some other things. When he wanted Trump's endorsement, Trump was great. And when he thought Trump's endorsement would benefit him, that would be great. Now that he doesn't have it, now that he's lost, he's distancing himself and potentially will testify against Trump. It's really about power. I mean, he can get a lot of airtime if he testifies, in the January 6 hearings, because right now he's coming out of a campaign loss. What is he going to do next? This is the obvious next thing to do if you're motivated by power. We don't really have to wonder what the motivations are, why he's doing what he's doing.
He's been doing it the whole time. Also, there was one other question that he was asked, and that part of that thread from Olivia Beavers there said, he says he's retiring now that he's had that loss, and he says he's gonna do what normal people do and have a little bit of fun. He's got grandkids, he wants to hang out with family. Maybe that's the case, but before that, he's gonna definitely get his revenge because he's thinking nothing is more truthful than a politician who's decided not to go back and run again. Because suddenly the chains are off and they're allowed to speak their mind. And they're very open about saying so. And it's pretty damning for what the rest of politicians are doing and saying. If you can now speak the truth because you're not gonna be a politician, that says everyone that stays in politics is not speaking the truth. And they just say it openly. That's why we have Adam Kinzinger on the board, on the panel right now, and why he's being so truthful. Let's keep it real.